Привет из Сингапура. С вами передача «Голубь мира», где разбираем крутые навыки. Спрашиваем на английском, отвечаем на русском. Подтягивайте язык или смотрите перевод в тайм-кодах. Let's talk about immunity and let's start with the definition.
Immunity is the ability of the human body or body of the animals to give immediate response when the body is hurt by viruses or bacteria or some other kind of things which could lead to disease.
And what are the fundamentals or the principles that actually could help the one to build a better immunity? And what is this thing like in more nutshell?
I like the metaphor that our immunity is like a Wikipedia. So all viruses or bacteria which was met by our parents are known for them and also was sucked by us with the mother's milk, and our body will respond properly. But if we'll meet the virus on the different territory or in different conditions, which was never met by our parents or by our body, we will have some troubles. Our heat will go high. Maybe we'll feel ourselves not good, and our immunity will develop how to respond to this danger, and it will lead for disease like 3 days for easy one, and for example 2 weeks for a strong one.
And when it comes to levels of mastery, and I'm not sure whether it might be applicable here, but maybe we can talk not really of the levels of mastery, but maybe types of the immunity or the levels of the strength of the immunity. So what could be kind of a metrics here?
The first level is we will talk about luck. For example, in ancient world, there were slaves which was called immunites. If there was a heart disease and were a lot of died people, if there were slaves who was forced through the disease and was not dead, and they were helping to burn the bodies and to clean the streets. After the disease was gone, they were given freedom, and they were called immunities. For example, in Dubai, it was after COVID virus, all people who was working in hospitals were given permission to stay in the country for 10 years, like a gratitude from the sheikh. Second, immunities could beat disease if it is not hard and not modified. But a lot of viruses, they have a lot of abilities to hide and to change their form. It also the reason why harmful computer programs were called as viruses. And the third level and the last one for our purposes is on the planet there are a lot of quite dead disease which lead or led to millions of deaths. But we are lucky to be as a humankind because it was convinced and it was research that not more than 10% of people will die from each virus. So we are quite resistible.
And when it comes to defending your immunity or the boosting, what are the aspects here? Maybe we actually can talk from the both sides. Like, for example, what is the thing that actually can build your great strength and the resistance to a different diseases that you may face? And on the contrary, what are the top 3 things that actually could lead you to be more like an open for all of the vulnerabilities?
There are a lot of myths about this topic. Some people saying that if you will, for example, eat ginger or some kind of flavors or some kind of flowers or some grass or roots or even pineapples, shishka,
Uh, could be called pineapple, or
pineapple,
maybe it could be a pine.
pine, yes, maybe like a pine. Okay, let's tell as a pine. You will boost your immune, but it is not wrong. There are no such a thing like immunomodulator and so on. If you are tired, if you catch a cold, if you have not enough food, if you are suffer from some kind of lack of the water, you will be very vulnerable. But if you will feed yourself well, if you'll eat veggies and fruits, everything will go on. There is even a joke. My wife is dentist, and she always says, I could always understand if the person is vegan, because vegans have not good teeth, because maybe they have lack of some nutrition components.
There is also a joke for that, not really a joke, but it's like a phrase, because everyone says like, hey, we know that there is a phrase called old alcoholic, but there is no such a phrase where we could call someone old vegan. So my next question will be how the future of the immunity may look like, and whether humanity was discovered, like what exactly the immunity, how it works, and whether there are certain ways to protect it.
Let me remember one short story from my very young ages. It was a time, I don't know, I was like 3 or 4 years old, and I catch a cold. I don't know how to pronounce it in English. In Russian, it's called ветрянка, okrasnyanka.
Need to think about this as well.
Okay, and suddenly my mother and my grandmother invited some girls to visit me, and I was not aware how to do this. I have a disease which could go from my body to body of these girls, but it was quite usual in Ukraine. It was a way how to transfer the disease. If you will take this in a young age, it will go not such a harmful way. And it was very, very strange. Sometimes when you go, for example, in Africa, you will get some pills or even vaccine which will prevent you from tsetse fly or some other very strong diseases, and it will protect you. And not too many people agree with this, because you could harm your kidneys or you could harm your liver.
And when it comes to balancing your immunity with some different activities, maybe actually I could use you as example, if you don't mind. Like, for example, I know that you sleep not that much time. So, but maybe it could be, compromised, or maybe it could be rebalanced with some other activities, like, for example, going for the massage. So when you can substitute, or maybe some good food could help the body to actually feel pressure, or some procedures, let's say like taking a shower, or maybe taking a contrast shower. So is this thing applicable to the immunity?
Yes, it's quite a good timing for this question. Yes, right now I have a huge project, and I sleeping for 3 hours per day, and it could be seen under my eyes. But there are no ways how to improve your immunities. Contrast shower or some other exercises are too late to do when you have not enough time to sleep. The sleeping is the best way to improve your immunity, because from 23:30 to 3:30 there are all hormones in your body will recover, and your brain are responsible for tasting your body and to understand which should be recovered first. But when you have some money, there are a lot of things how you could make a fence between you and disease. I am not using subway, I am not using trains, I am not using buses. I always use just big cars with nice filters for air. I use supreme food, so it is not hard to maintain immunity. But if you are going to McDonald's or Burger King or some other KFC, you will have enough of calories, but you will have not enough supplies for your immunities.
There is a reason this food called junk food. Last question will be how knowing about immunity could help to make this world a better place.
When I was working in Germany, I invited my guys, my bosses, to the Kyiv, is the capital of Ukraine, and I was so proud to meet them there. And we were going to the Bessarabka market. It's well known and maybe the most important market in my city, in my home city. And they were trying to buy some food like smoked chicken, like some kind of tvarog.
Cottage cheese.
Yes, correct. It is already triple times when you trying to help me. Yes, cotton cheese. But suddenly they have some stomach problem, and they were not happy to eat this food. Yes, it was tasty, but it was not easy. The same was with guys from Americans. When they come to Moscow, I always tell them never drink or use any milk food, because in the America there are some specific process how to make milk food, and there are no some special food allowed in the milk. In Russia, in Ukraine, we use like live milk, but not processed to be just dissolved calories. So when you, for example, go to Nepal and you will try to drink milk of yak, it's kind of bull.
Yes, it's kind of bull.
You also will have disease for your stomach. It's called stomach flu, because you are not used to this milk. So your immunity could be destroyed by jet lag, by lack of sleeping time, by lack of vitamins and some nutrition components, and also with unusual air.
Берегите себя, чтобы не быть атакованным множеством процессов и вещей. А мы рассмотрели навык иммунитет и чем он полезен именно вам. Всем мира!